Okay. Okay. Maybe I should do some Hades. I don't really know. I'm kinda like. I'm gonna turn some of this on. Ah, it's really loud to me. There we go. Kind of want to draw. I could work on some stream stuff, but I'm not really sure if that's what I really want to be doing. Also, I just realized I think my bookmark for this particular playlist, yeah, it's timestamped. I'll fix that. That should work. But yeah. How's it going, everyone? I'm tired. It is a rainy day. I haven't been sleeping too well. I'm feeling really proud of myself because I like painted and did more art stuff. What's up with this? Looking at my paint pen, my watercolor pens right now, and some of them have like straight up collapsed. And I think it's because I got like this little pipette and I dropped a whole bunch of water in them, which I probably shouldn't have done. It really didn't need that much water in retrospect. I didn't know it at the time. I have now discovered it like made the paint in the pan sink, which is very strange. Maybe there's just like some sort of like negative space under there. I don't really know. So I'm at kind of a weird spot with the stream. I'm gonna keep streaming before anyone asks. It's still gonna be a thing that I do, but the approach that I take to it needs to change. It needs to change. Everyone's known this, and I've talked about it for a little bit. But basically, I guess my plans are hopefully within the next like 2 months. Depends on kind of how things go. Like I've heard there's a chance of like a third stimulus check. It should be no mystery to anyone that I would probably qualify for that. I'd barely make anything at my current day job. That would be quite a sum of money if they managed to pass that through. So I was thinking, if I was gonna take that money, I could probably spend it on probably like spend it on stuff for the stream kinda. And I have a couple different ideas. In addition to like I had my hours reduced at work, I went ahead and applied for unemployment, and they were like, well, you have a certain amount of money that could be allotted. All you got to do is like wait 2 weeks and then try and claim it. So that's what I'm waiting to do right now. I think next Sunday It's Wednesday and it's the 3rd. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 4 days. That'd be the 7th. Yeah, so either next Sunday or Monday, I think I have to go on the website and be like, hey, am I actually qualifying for this, or is this just a thing that you're telling me to get my hopes up? But hopefully I actually qualify, and if I actually qualify, that will help a lot. Not only with like being able to afford things, because I'm getting like less than $200 a paycheck right now, and like $400 a month is not enough to live on, especially where I live. I just don't have that much hours, and it's been kind of like a big priority of mine to like work on the stream and stuff, which is partly why I kind of applied for unemployment. And it's not like an unlimited amount of money. It's a limited amount of money, but it would increase my income to the point where I could live a little bit more comfortably and maybe have a little bit more to invest back into here. And it seems kind of weird. I need to realize that like the stream itself isn't the be all and end all, and that like I need to also be focusing on other platforms as well, and especially platforms that have discoverability and stuff that will work to inform the stream, you know, work to inform what happens on the stream and also get people to come and watch the stream. But even more so than that, I mean, like running this as a business and going into this with a business mindset, I think has initially been helpful. But at this point, I've gotten to a point where I know what I need to do next, kind of. I know like the general direction I need to go. It's easy to say like, I need to make YouTube videos. I'm making all this video content, why aren't I putting it onto the platform that increases discovery in a way that like people want to watch it? Because I did start, right? Hey, what's up, Kiki? Good to see you. But I did start, you know, with multi-streaming and actually getting the VODs up on YouTube. Motivation is hard. Yeah, motivation sucks. But also because like I don't have, like it's partly motivation, part of it's also, I guess, kind of like inspiration for ideas for videos as well. Because I wanted to do like, for example, I wanted to do like a monthly, you just do what you can, yeah. Well, that's the thing, is it's kind of like I could just do, yeah, you're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. It does have to kind of come down to just like doing the thing, right? I don't know. Whenever I think about stuff like that, like it's really easy to say like, oh, well, to improve, all I need to do is do it more, you know, like, oh, practice. You want to get better, you just practice. But like, that's not the whole story, right? Because it doesn't really tell you like what to practice in order to see results. And that's one of the big things is I guess I've also been, I've gotten really impatient about seeing results from a lot of my personal creative endeavors, whether that be my art, whether that be streaming, whether that be my music. I'm looking for a particular type of feedback, right? And like, if it's just not coming to pass, it's just not coming to pass. And, you know, I haven't worked at it enough. I haven't put enough in because, you know, because of that. But that doesn't really answer like what the next indicated step is. The next indicated step, I think that's kind of the key word. It's like, what's the next indicated step? Because I could work on stuff for the stream right now, and that wouldn't be too bad. But also, I have very particular ideas on what I'd like to see out of the stream, and where I'd like to see it go. Some of these ideas I could just throw money at, and they could kind of become realities, or if they were problems, they'd just kind of disappear and like wouldn't really be a factor anymore. But I'm like also just not convinced that it's that easy either. Or I'm having trouble articulating my own thoughts about what I think needs to happen. Like I have it constructed in my head, but it's a matter of like getting it out of my head and then on paper. Hey, what's up, Maru? It's good to see you, by the way. I feel like it's been a really long time since I saw you, so hi. I missed you. Something about the VODs is that it might be helpful to upload them to YouTube in chunks, like 20 to 25 minutes, and then unpost this playlist. So I thought, yeah, you're right. People would be much more willing to watch 9 20-minute videos than a 3-hour video. Absolutely. And also, like, I want to hear all about it. You'll have to tell me. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's, I'm the same way. But I wouldn't, the thing what I think I need to do is just take a VOD for the day and just chop it up into the best bits. It's a lot of work. Am I going to do it for every single stream that I do? Like, that's a good question. I don't know. Do I do it only for weekend streams? Do I do it only for Wednesday streams? Like, what one of these am I going to be chopping up and posting? I guess is my bigger question. Because I could do all that. I mean, that's a lot of work, but I'd spend a lot of time in the booth editing. I got editing software and stuff recently. I am a freaking... I'm not a simp for Adobe, but I paid Adobe money to use their software. I don't like that. I don't like Adobe, but Final Fantasy streams definitely put into a pseudo Let's Play. Oh, so a thing about the Final Fantasy streams is those are actually going to go straight to Let's Play. That's kind of a weird way to say that, but yeah, I'm actually gonna be like not streaming those anymore. Probably. I'm probably going to just turn it into a Let's Play, because the reason why I've been streaming those is not necessarily, I mean, sharing the game with people in real time is fun, but like really I wanted to just have an experience with those games and be able to play through them chronologically as if I was a player experiencing their release, like in order. And being able to kind of go back and explore the history and really dig into them a little bit. And I just feel like streaming, with how grindy those games are, I just don't feel like RPGs from that era translate onto a platform like Twitch too well. Specifically Twitch. I think that they could live on YouTube, maybe. I don't necessarily think I'll have any better commentary on YouTube than I would on Twitch. As a matter of fact, it'd probably be worse because I have less people to interact with, but I feel like I actively feel like I'm wasting people's time with those games when I play them on streams. I don't know. FFXIB Prong Chores, where you take a 20-minute highlight clip for that VOD. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh, also, I don't know if you've heard, Meru, but I'm not running with Yehais anymore. I dismissed myself. It was becoming too much. I got to a point where I was starting to take it out on people, and that was not right. I'll still be progging the tier with another group, but it's gonna be a little more chill, and I'm just gonna kind of let it go. Good game for Twitch is one with either lots of replayability or one that can be finished in 10 to 20 hours. Looked like the group fell apart. Well, it's from my understanding they're still running. Just I'm not with them anymore. I don't know if Sid or Kiki or someone else ended up streaming. Kiki, if you're in the chat, you could probably tell us more about that. I'm kind of curious. They cleared E10 like the day after I left. What does that say? What does that say about me and the group and my relationship to the group? It was me. I was dragging them down this whole time. Saw some others running with different people too. Oh yeah, I know Sid. Well, Sid's been doing reclears early with June, Lift, and Zone. He like just hops on and does his reclears like first thing in the week. I don't know if Sele or anyone else. I don't know if anyone else has been doing anything. I haven't been paying attention to them. Sid's up to 12 last time I checked. Yeah, and I'm up to 12 too, which is also part of the reason why I left, because I didn't have. I was kind of running out of patience. Like I said, I was just taking it out on people. It was really kind of a bad scene. I deleted the VOD if it tells you anything about it. I mean, they're good players. I know they have it in them to clear the tier if they persevere, but I can't run at that pace right now. Not with everything else that I have going on in my life. You wasn't there for it. That's okay. You didn't miss anything. Nothing important happened. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. Yeah, I'd still like to run. I want to bring. You much prefer the Final Fantasy streams over the FFXIV or other game. You prefer the Final Fantasy chronological progression over other games as well, or just other games over Final Fantasy 14 as well? Because other games over Final Fantasy 14, I don't blame you either. Like I honestly do kind of want to be playing Final Fantasy on stream less and less. Another way of saying that, I'd rather be playing other games in general. Anything over Final Fantasy, yeah, I'm right there with you. I love the game, but it needs to. My relationship with it needs to change, and part of my reason from getting away from raiding 2 was also so I could focus on like the FC more in the game, focus more on crafting and doing all the other stuff that's not raiding. And look at me, dude. I am so frustrated with myself because this week on freaking Tuesday, someone from my UU static messaged me and was like, I'm getting a group together for UCOB. And I was like, yeah, count me in. What am I doing? I'm destroying myself. I hate it. I want to do that. That's like specifically, but that's also specifically what I said. Like if I was going to be playing the game, that's one of my bigger goals in the game. I don't care about the Savage tier. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I really don't care about it. It's so much work. You play Final Fantasy 14 every day. You're not really motivated to raid. I feel like you get enough of it. Yeah, and really, if it's just kind of a daily, casual thing anyway. The UU group might progress at a pace that, maybe. I did some research on some of the players. Most of them seem to be okay. Most of them. 5 out of the 7 that we have confirmed seem to be really solid players. The other 2 I'm not too sure about. Well, one of them's already cleared an ultimate, so I don't care about them. But another one, I looked at their character profile. They had no parses. They had 1 parse, and it was really, really low on one of the more recent Savages. And so I kind of wonder, who is this person and how did they get recruited? I mean, if they're a good player, they're a good player. I look forward to seeing how they perform, but hopefully it's not just them getting frustrated. You might be burnout on 14. Played every single day without fail for 4 years. Honestly, Mary, take a break. Yeah. I feel that. There comes a time where it's I've definitely gotten to a point where I want to do other things with my life, that aren't just Final Fantasy 14. I'll say it before, I love the game to death, but I want to do other things with myself. And also just realizing that as much as the Final Fantasy 14 community is warm, it's so warm. It's so warm. It's so easy to just sit here and be like, I could live out the rest of my days playing this game and hanging out with all these wonderful people, because that's what they are. That's what everyone is. But it's like, there's so many other games. There's also like so much more out there to do. Like if I wasn't spending so much time on this game, maybe I'd like be able to branch out. And then I so easily forget that like I have a living body that I need to take care of. I haven't worked out in like 2 years. I'm like falling apart. I really need to turn around and kind of start caring for myself. Connection to my friends too, so I connect a lot of times just that reason. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and like I mean, it's not that I don't want to spend time with the people in Final Fantasy 14. Like that's not it at all. I want to spend more time with all the people who I play Final Fantasy 14 with, of course. I just also need to do other things, I think. I'm realizing. And that doesn't mean I have to stop playing Final Fantasy 14. I think that just means I need to change my relationship with it. Pretty much a stagnant part of the 14 cycle. Things won't be interesting again until 6.0. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, a major expansion release is definitely going to breathe a whole lot of new life into the game. Among other things. Now is a good time to kind of reflect and try new stuff. I mean, I have so much on my plate right now just because I've spent every weekend raiding and only raiding. Ultimately, I feel good that I stopped raiding with the AIs. I do feel better about the situation, or about how I am gonna treat myself and treat the people around me. Like I know it's for the better. Not saying I'm not gonna miss it. I probably am gonna miss it. I do kind of already miss it, but I have to play other games so much. Just so Final Fantasy 14 can be more chill. That's also kind of a good approach to have to how you consume stuff like that in general. Like mix it up and keep the variety there, because yeah, if your whole life is revolving around, I like to think about it like this, and this is something I kind of realize with my relationships. If I'm only spending my time with like 2 people, and I'm only ever talking with like 2 people, if I have an issue with one of those people, if something comes up and suddenly me and one of those people aren't on good terms, 50% of my support network is now mad at me or like we're just not getting along. 50% of my support network. That's like a huge percentage, and I don't think that like I fully acknowledge that it's 50%, but that's still like, if those people are your world, that's half your world. Half the world is against you. You know, or not necessarily against you, but not necessarily with you. Whereas if you like branch out and you have a lot of friends and different friend groups and you're just keeping up with all of them, a whole friend group could get angry at you, but if you have 5 friend groups, that's only 20%. So it's like way more sustainable emotionally. And I feel like I could take that same approach with video games and have it be similar. Do you rest to build connections in 14? Everyone seems socially exhausted. I think that might be a byproduct of COVID. Everyone's been stuck indoors. And I think that's another thing. Like, no one really wants to be sitting around indoors playing games right now. I mean, I shouldn't say nobody. People do. I do. I just, as much as I want to be doing that, I also want to be doing other things. I want the opportunities to do other things, but if I'm not giving myself those opportunities, I think I'll feel more and more like I'm in a rut. Very socially exhausted. This would take a step back and keep it to yourself. I mean, nothing wrong with that. 100% in over 20 games this year. Wait, 2021 or 2020? It's 2021. That's freaking 20 games isn't 100%ing on. That's like, why aren't you streaming? Why aren't you the one who's streaming? Like, people would pay to watch that. Full achievements on Steam. Motivation is real on that front. Myself as a support network. I mean, it's good to be able to rely on yourself, I guess. On a normal day, being home 24/7 is amazing to play games. I left my house less than 10 times since last March. 2021. 21. Wow. That is incredible. Yeah, that's like, jeez. And here I am, I have to do a dungeon crawl in Final Fantasy 2, and I'm like crying. I'm like, no, not another crawl. I have to make progress in this game. What am I doing with myself? How did I get myself in this situation? I hate this. Why am I playing this? I don't hate it. I like it, but sometimes that's how it feels. It's like, oh, why can't this game just be over? Rip it off fast like a band-aid. 30-hour game on a weekend. Oh my god. It was super fun. Don't be a crybaby. I am a crybaby. They're crocodile tears. It's what they're called. It's crocodile tears. Could stream. You talk all day for work, staying in the game, and don't want to say anything. Honestly, yeah, like, I think if you are happy with your relationship to your gaming, don't change a thing. And don't stream. I was unhappy with my relationship with my gaming, so I started to stream. I specifically started to stream because I didn't like how I was enjoying games. And streaming changed something, I think. I think it does actually bring out the game a little more for me. Lord knows I would have quit Final Fantasy, probably both Final Fantasy 1 and 2, if I wasn't playing them on stream or wasn't playing them for an audience. It kept me going, for sure. You had difficulty doing hard games. Last game I did was Mario Odyssey and just beat it. No completion. I do. I mean, you're absolutely right. I have like a clinical thing, though. Let me establish this. And it's not just like depression or anxiety, because I've like gotten like professionally diagnosed as that, but like I realize that's not the problem. That's a symptom. Like those are symptoms. It's okay. So I got diagnosed with symptoms, but it didn't actually like address the problem, which is something I did actually get a psychological like evaluation for back when I was 19. And they were like, back when I was like 3 years old, like 4 years old, I was like very, very tiny. I did get a professional diagnosis of ADD back when that was like a thing that occurred. Hang on. I think when I started streaming, I think you would rather change your relationship with games than focusing on enjoyment of the game. You'd be chasing the success of the stream. Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't see myself as a gamer when I'm on stream. Well, okay, if I'm raiding, I do kind of see myself as like a person who like is devoted and focused on the game. Raiding isn't good for streaming because it takes a lot of concentration in the moment. Like it's good when you clear, but prog I think makes for kind of lukewarm streams. But first and foremost, I'm an entertainer, right? And that's why I'm here. And that was the reason why I started streaming. And that was kind of something, my mother in particular hates video games. Hates video games. My whole life, I know she would have wished me to do anything else besides video games, but I love video games. I love getting sucked into something and just being able to like tune everything out for a little bit. and just like hyper focusing on the game for a little bit. But when I had to talk with her about like what I'm doing in the streaming and how that was all going to work out and kind of like what that might have required from them if we were going to live in the same environment, I had to tell her like, I know it just looks like I'm playing video games all day, but really like most of my effort needs to go towards like entertaining an audience. And I realized like the last stream that I had was completely silent, kind of because I was upset, but also I was completely silent. That's not engagement with the viewers. That's a bad stream. Like overall, that's just bad content because I'm not talking with people. I'm giving them nothing. I think I want to be forced to play Among Us or Fall Guys. Those are great games, but I wouldn't play them. I prefer to watch them. And I think that's fine because it's not about the games, right? Because it's about the people who are playing them and how entertaining they are and their personalities. Not even donuts? I could go for donuts. The ADHD causes anxiety and depression. Makes me appear bipolar. Yeah, so here's the thing. So when I got my like a diagnosis of, I think the only one that I actually, no, I must have gotten a diagnosis of depression. I think they were only able to diagnose depression, but not anxiety. And then they tried to diagnose me for ADHD because I said I had a previous diagnosis, like when I was little, and I got a psychological evaluation, which said I had an executive functioning disorder, which is what I was leading up to. When I talked with a psychiatrist who was going to actually prescribe the medicine, he said I didn't actually meet all of the full requirements for an ADHD diagnosis. So I'm not ADHD by the DSM standards, like by the book. But I have an executive functioning disorder to the point that I've gone to therapy for it for 5 years and it's like still not getting better. Actually, that's a lie. I think it is getting better. But it's like way harder to deal with than just my problem is with activation. So starting tasks is like super, super difficult. Incredibly introverted and depressed. Take a lot of energy to entertain an audience and hide those things for 2 hours straight. I feel like to a degree, if you look at for what it's worth, Gary Vaynerchuk, however you want to pronounce his last name, he's this like big shot entrepreneur. He's basically just a social media guru at this point. And he is a master of self-image. And he's like, he comes off as like one of the least authentic people in my opinion, but his whole spiel is like authenticity and like being real. And I think that has its place too, because like that's part of the reason why I continue to watch Game Grumps after all these years, is because the people, not only are they funny, I love that they're funny, but also they've opened up about being like just like real people and they talk about their problems. It's not just like they turn on the camera and it's like, ho, let me put on this funny personality for everyone. It's like, no, like when they're having a bad day, they're having a bad day. If they're sick, they're like falling asleep on camera, you know? And I like how casual and like that definitely makes it out to be a little bit more honest, in my opinion. She has some sort of undiagnosed things, mostly been correcting them on your own without medication or outside support. I mean, if you have it in you to do that, it's good on you. I know I can't. If I've learned anything, it's that I can't do that. And that's for a couple different reasons. I spent most of my life thinking I was an introvert. And then 2 years ago, I was spending time with some online friends. Some of you might know them. Miles, Taku, y'all know Sailing. Miles and Taku and Neko-kun and all of them. I have a kind of group with them, but they were saying like, man, Croc might be one of the like only real introverts that we know. And I was like, or sorry, extroverts. It was like, it might be one of the only real extroverts that we know. And I was like, hang on, what? Like, what part of what you're saying, like what part of me makes you think I'm an extrovert? Because I definitely feel like I'm an introvert. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, wait a minute, they're right. Like, I might, all of the like when I get energy, because really that's the definition, right? A introvert gets energy from seclusion or isolation, kind of, and an extrovert gets more energy from spending time with people, or is fed more, you know, emotionally fed, I think is kind of a good way to look at it. And I was like, no, I definitely feel way more emotionally fed when I'm spending time with people and like hanging out with them and talking with them and all these other things. And I was talking with a friend of mine who's probably a true introvert. Actually, he might actually be a true introvert. He's very charismatic, but he might truly be an introvert. Because I was talking with him and I was like, I would rather talk in front of a group of people than to an individual. And he was like, I'm the complete opposite. I'd rather talk with an individual than a group of people. I was like, oh, interesting. It's a slow change. You definitely know significant improvement. I mean, hey, can't really argue with progress. If you feel like you're moving into a more actualized self, I think that's really all that matters. But yeah, like, I feel like right now my biggest challenge is the challenge I've had this whole time with this stupid executive functioning disorder and activation on skills. And part of it, I read this book about procrastination because I've been a serial procrastinator my whole life. Jolly Ranchers! Mom said dinner's done! Oh boy! Hey, what's up? We're talking about some serious issues. The issues we all have. Ain't it wonderful? Good to see you, by the way. Welcome to the stream. Listen to us moan about everything going wrong in our lives. I'm going to stick this paintbrush up my nose. I'm not going to do that. I had a bloody nose today. Gnocchi. I love gnocchi. This is good stuff. Yeah, that's like the biggest thing I think I've been rubbing against. Because that affects everything. I read this book about procrastination, and it listed like a couple different reasons why people might procrastinate. Had this like wonderful little survey you could take and tell you what type of procrastinator you are. It's called the Procrastination Equation. It's on the shelf right there. It's not my book, it's my therapist's, and he gave it to me to read. I need to return it, but there has been a pandemic, and I have not had an opportunity to see him, I think, since he gave me it. Anyway, so I read the book. I took this little quiz thing, and there was like 3 types. There was like one type that was like, I forget. It was like, one was just like they were bad at time management. Like they were like just disorganized to the point where they couldn't keep everything up. Another one was like, I can't quite remember. I should open the book before I start talking about it. But anyway, it was something else. It was like, yeah. I honestly can't describe it. I guess it was more like a low willpower type of thing, but that's not... I don't think they really made a case for low willpower in the book. But then there was a third type, and it was like you procrastinate based on your values. Hey, welcome back, Sid. But it was like you procrastinate based on your values, and like it's more of like a value judgment you're making about the things that you're doing. And I realized that is also kind of like how textbook ADHD functions. at least for people who have a ADHD diagnosis and have trouble specifically with activation. Turns out like that's kind of how it operates. And that's why a lot of people who have ADHD and struggle with activation have, yeah. That's like why a lot of people who struggle with that, like people will say they just have low willpower. When in reality, that's not the case. Like there is like to a degree, I think an executive dysfunction can be worked through, and you can develop strategies to deal with it. Tend to call it compulsive multitasking. Yeah, I mean, I am not a compulsive multitasker so like there's people who have like the inattentive type. So they're going to be like more like, oh, shiny. And then they're going to like go to the most interesting thing in the room. Yeah. Or if you can balance those things, if you're actually getting those things done though, it's like hard to say. I mean, I'm not going to say if it's a disorder to you, it's a disorder. If it's something you struggle with, then it's something you struggle with. For me, my thing is I am not inattentive. I can focus. The problem is I hate focusing. I hate focusing to the point where I won't start on something. And if I more easily catastrophize about things. So it is kind of like, that's more of like an anxiety symptom, right? Catastrophizing. So I'll like catastrophize about my experience about something, and then I won't even start. It's like the gatekeeper to doing things, to like making decisions and activating on a task is incredibly strict in my head. And every single time a new task pops up, it has to play 20 questions with it before it can actually let it get through into the, okay, we're going to do this now stage of things. Like, but to get it over into the part of my head where I become convinced that I need to, get out of bed and start working on something, or change tasks from playing a video game to editing something else, like editing video, or working on art, or doing literally anything else. That process, that transition is what is most difficult. Mainly because I can convince myself. Like, even after I tell myself, like, these are things that I want, like, I realize that there is a reward on the other end of these tasks. That after I get those rewards, or after I do the tasks, I'll gain those rewards. That's, like, that doesn't do anything for me. Like, I get no buzz from that. And I hate the process. Like drawing, I actually really don't like sitting down in this chair working at this desk. And that was actually one of the hardest things about getting up and starting this stream today, was making the decision to sit in this chair for however long the stream's going to be. I have to raid with a group at 6. But both of those tasks, sitting down for this stream and raiding, the hardest part is just getting started. And that's not to say like, oh, well, if I just get started, then it gets better and it works. Like, no, sometimes I get started and I feel terrible about everything the whole way through. So it's not just like a getting started thing. There's also like, and I think that's one of the quickest ways in which it kind of manifests itself. But when people talk about like falling in love with a process, for example, I don't think I've ever really fallen in love with a process before. There's not a lot of things I enjoy actively doing. It's kind of the way that I describe it. I just agree to do stuff or just start doing stuff. Very easily overwhelm yourself with a lot of responsibility. I don't want to put something down because the feeling of being perceived as weak as a quitter. Oh, I quit. I am such a good quitter. Oh my god, I'm an amazing quitter. As a matter of fact, I am more surprised I have not quit doing this stream yet. I'm confused as to why I'm still doing it, because I've never really stuck with something like a personal project for this long. My mind is boggled. By all all of the evidence that's led up to this point and me starting this stream back in August and continuing to do it into the March of 2020 has blown my mind. I have no idea why I'm still here doing this. I'm not going to question it. I like it. Like, I like the fact that I am doing this because it's something that I want to do, but it's amazing that I've even managed to like get up and start almost every single session. Other times I plan to do something, completely forget about it. Out of sight, out of mind. It's quite literal in my head. Put something away and forget I even had it. And that was one of the types of procrastinators that was in those books. It was like they're just like, one of the things was like, if it's not written down and it's not like scheduled and organized, like that's what that sort of archetype that the person in the book was describing. Like that's a sort of archetype that has trouble with like a certain sort of procrastination. Hey, good to see you, Sky. You're a terrible quitter. That's the thing. Could I have done more? I let go of things like super easily. It's all water under the bridge. Most of my life is water under the bridge. Because if I could hang on, I have so much crap I could hang on to in my life. Why? Why would I want to hang on to that? I don't have time for that. There's no room in my headspace. I am too busy worrying about the future to be concerned about the past. You're very stubborn. You'd rather be carried over the next shift to good. Yeah, I am not stubborn. I am the opposite. That's good. See, but that sort of behavior will like get you places. That's actually useful. People will hire you for that. People don't hire people. I can't think of a job that would hire me because I like to give up really easily. Because I like to give up on things. I can do it myself. I really ask for help, though it probably would be good for most things. I think that even translates to stuff like raid, multitasking on a passive level just makes it easier for you to be here. Bang your head against the fight for hours on end just to see it done. See, I've done that, but this kind of goes back to like, I hate the process and the payoff isn't worth it to me. Because I actually don't. I like raiding retroactively. I like thinking about raid. I like going back. I like it's like retroactive. In the moment, it doesn't feel super great. I don't like how it feels. Well, when you clear, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air, but it doesn't feel like it's such a short payoff for me. It's so just like boop, that's it. You cleared. Here's your like little bit of dopamine. Boop. Thanks, brain. I just spent hours trying to clear that fight. I spent days trying to clear that fight. Thanks for the little bit of dopamine, I guess. I don't feel much different. In 5 minutes, you're back to doing it. This time you got to E11S, I spent 2 weeks straight trying to clear the fight. Hunt the man dead. I mean, good for you. I spent 3 months on Shiva, and I regret every minute of it. I wish I could get that time back. I mean, I'm glad I cleared the fight. I can say that I'm glad I cleared the fight. I'm not glad that I spent that much time to clear the fight. It was stupid to spend that much time to clear the fight. From an economic, even a business perspective, it was stupid to spend that much time. I should have seeked better resources of people who could have just helped me clear the fight. Why did I waste my time doing it if I hate the process? Is kind of the way that I was looking at it. Like, why did I waste my time? You spent no days on Shiva. You are the better person for it, Kiki. I'd love to take you into Shiva, just for the fun of it. Not to be like, hey, look how hard it is. Look how hard we have it. But just to like actually go back, because I do have an appreciation for that fight. And like I spent so much time on it, it is kind of cool. It is kind of an interesting idea to like go back and see how much I remember after all this time. Day 1 blind prog sounds stupid. You're done for doing it. May or may not have cleared that fight multiple times. I mean, I cleared it multiple times. But it's one of those things, like it's, I just don't. I'm bad at asking for help. I feel really bad at inconveniencing others, but also for myself for not being able to do it. Asking for help is hard. But I also feel like that stems from, see, I feel like a lot of those things are like habits though. I feel like these things are habits. Like even my executive functioning disorder, I tell myself is more of a habit. I don't tell myself it's like an ingrained thing, even though it's something that I've done ever since I was a kid. I think it was at some point in time, I might have been very, very small. I just got it in my head that I actually didn't really need to like work that hard on things. And like, it wasn't like I could hate the process, but still like see some sort of success out of it, or like maybe there was something, I don't know. I think it was like I can definitely say that there's been some element of learned helplessness, but that's more of like an anxiety thing. That's more of like a catastrophizing thing. And that's been less of a ADHD thing. But I think like I just really haven't had good time management, haven't really grown up. My mom does actually have ADHD. So I think I just grew up inheriting a lot of her behaviors because I spent some amount of my life being homeschooled. So it was probably pretty easy for her behaviors to rub off on me then. And then now here I am being like, why does everything seem so disorganized? And like, why do I keep getting overwhelmed by things? And maybe it's just because like my role model for that was constantly disorganized and overwhelmed by things, so it's just like, this must be normal. But I think I'm learning more and more that I can actually organize my life and I can get those things in order, and that might help me become less overwhelmed in the future and make me feel more comfortable about something like sitting down working on personal projects. There's also like a big emotional charge involved with just like, I don't feel good about where I'm at in life, so I want to work to be in a better position. But then when I realize that like what helps me get in a better position? Well, if I could move out of my house. How do I move out of my house? Well, I need money. How do I get money? Well, I can get a better job. But you hate doing your job. Like you'll burn out and you'll stop working and then you'll have to move back in with your parents anyway. So what do? It's like, well, I guess I have to do a job that I feel passionate about. And that's not just manufacturing computers and burning out all the time because I freaking burn out all the time. So it's like, well, okay, so how do you do that? And it's like, well, streaming, content creation. But then it's like, well, you can't do content creation because you're constantly overwhelmed because you're living at home with your parents. So how do you get out of your parents when you're living at home and you have to do content creation? How do you do content creation at home when you're living with your parents? And it's like, I don't know. I just hold my breath, white knuckle it, try, burn out anyway. Considering getting medicated for seeing if I could at least go and get medicated for some of the activation problems. Even just a tiny little dose of some sort of ADHD medication, some sort of stimulant, because stimulants do help. Oh, I'm blind plugged in. That's the expectation. If the expectation is blind prog, then it's like, oh, that's fine. If the expectation is you're supposed to have studied this and you're supposed to know it already, that's when it's like, that's when struggling ends up getting upsetting, I think, in my opinion. So it does have a lot to do with just the expectations. Come on, the blind prog. Getting to understand how something works at that level is exciting. It can be fun. If the payoff is worth it and the group is moving at a good pace, then it can be fun. You be better about being honest with your feelings. You try to hide them. If things are bad, I say they're great. Yeah, we'll also just consider, like, I mean, it might be a good practice to also be like, maybe they aren't as bad as I think they are. Like, maybe things are really bad, but also, like, what about all the other good things that are happening? You know, and it's something I've kind of realized, and a lot of people have kind of said anecdotally for mental health stuff that I've read, is it's like, as much as we could catastrophize, which is like very human, it's superhuman to be like, let's think of all of the things that can go wrong so we can account for them and stay alive. Like, if from an evolutionary perspective, the people who worry the most probably stay alive longer. Probably live longer than the people who don't worry that much, because the people who don't worry aren't going to be as concerned about something bad happening. So when something bad does happen, they might be on the butt end of that. So from an evolutionary perspective, I think it makes sense to worry. But it's also like, as much as we could worry and catastrophize, we could also think about all of the, like, awesome things that could be happening, that could happen, that are happening. That's something that I try and flip the script. If I realize that I'm just like catastrophizing and worry about the same thing over and over and ruminating, I just try and flip the script and think of like, all right, but what about really good things? What am I looking forward to? That's something that like kills anxiety for me. What am I looking forward to? It saved me from many panic attacks. You don't have to blind stuff that often. Realized recently that using a guide or watching a video that everything's great saves the frustration. Absolutely. I study as much as possible. As a matter of fact, like, my friend messaged me about the UCOB group. I've already started studying for it. I don't know when we're going to start, but I've already started studying. Prince Meru's savage. It's getting frustrated. Sort of looking up the answer, negated bad vibes and copying out and using a guide. Yeah, that's kind of the way that I see it too, is it's like, and I think that's kind of why I've gotten overwhelmed and stuff in the past. Like, there's definitely, you can get overwhelmed just from like refusing to ask for help. I know I've been there. But also there's been times where, and I think this is what convinces us we can't ask for help, is when we do ask for help and then people are like, well, I can't help you. Especially the people who are like, hey, if you need help, ask. And then you're like, I need help. And then they're like, I can't help you. It's like, then why did you tell me to ask? Just so you could laugh at me? I was like, specifically, like, I asked for help with a task, and I remember one of my parental units being like they've always been like, we want to support you and like be there for you and all sort of stuff. And then I was like, I need help with this. And they were like, why can't you just do it yourself? I don't know, because I'm stupid. Shields and heels. On the other hand, tacos. Came from a culture of never asking for help. On one hand, it's like, I feel that. And I think from like a logistics perspective, we can't always have help with things. People just don't pay people enough money. But most people, I think, are autonomous enough that we probably don't need help with everything. So whether it comes to tasks or whether it comes to dealing with emotions, we cope, right? We cope. Some ways that we cope are healthier than others. So if we are in the habit of reaching for unhealthy coping mechanisms, a lot of what therapy does is not necessarily like, a lot of therapy in my experience has not been like, now you don't have bad thoughts anymore. It's like, you still have bad thoughts, but at least now you're going to cope with them in like a not so unhealthy manner. And also I'll learn more about how to recognize when I'm dealing with something in an unhealthy manner and be able to formulate my own solutions. That's how you know the therapy is working, is because you can formulate your own solutions in healthy ways, because you learn, therapy teaches you what's healthy and unhealthy, which you can do on your own. And given a lot of what I've done has been on my own research. So why am I paying for a therapist? Well, because it's also good to have someone who can like guide you in the right direction. And talking about things can be good. Talking about things does provoke like a chemical change in our brain about the way we view something that we're struggling with. It's like scientific, and like I've seen it happen firsthand with myself. If people's brains work differently, then I guess they work differently. I can't speak for everyone, but I know I can speak for myself. Therapy does help me. Those people who are raised to be helpful, they always get mad at me for not asking to help. Cope classic. I mean, that just sounds generous, Maru. Where's my water? You know what? There it is. Soda! I ordered a small and they gave me a large. I think I paid for a large too. I ordered a small. The other person must have heard smarge. Here is your smarge drink. And your smarge fry. I actually don't know if it was a large fry. I don't think it was. I just think they just gave me a large drink. But I still think I paid for a large. It's almost $10 for the meal. And it was just a sandwich, fries, and a drink. So I think that's smarge. Yep. Means a lot. Yeah. Kiki is a good bean. Everyone in the chat right now is a good bean. We need more good beans. Thanks, Restream. I have to pay if I want to get rid of that, and I'm not going to pay. At least not right now. I think I want to do more music. I mean, I always say that. I was saying the middle of February I was going to have a music stream. It never happened. But that's kind of weird, because I freaking cannot stand pain blood. I freaking cannot stand when my mom wants to just play piano at any given hour of the day. Like, I grew up a musician, she grew up a musician, and like she's gonna play piano. There's nothing I can do to stop that. And I'm living in her house. Nothing I can do to stop that right now. Kind of outside of my control. Back in January, I got enough money to buy my own keyboard, which was meant for the stream. It was supposed to be a tool that I would use to produce music for the stream, which I have not done yet. And I don't know, I got really weird. I have a super not healthy relationship with my mom, and the way that we interact is not great. And right now I'm kind of more resigned to just like, let's just not be in her vicinity as much as possible. But anyway, the keyboard right now is in the main living room, right next to the upright piano that we have that fills the whole house with sound and is unavoidable and has no mute button and cannot be played with headphones. Actually, it could be played with headphones because it's so loud you can hear it through the headphones. I imagine you could do that with any upright piano, now that I think about it. That's beside the point. The point is the $1,000 but the $1,000 keyboard that I bought is currently sitting in the living room and is being played more by her than I think I've played it since I got it home. And honestly, if I paid $1,000 just so she could play piano and I don't have to tell her to stop playing while I'm streaming or doing literally anything else or trying to focus on literally any other task, it might have been worth it. It might have been worth it. I still want to do the music streams, but that means I might have to bring the piano in here to play and work on it in here. And that means she will not have a piano to play, which means she will play the upright piano, which means now I couldn't work in here anyway. It's a little bit of a conundrum. Also probably something I should just let go of. but I am, for some reason, I still can't quite figure out, super petty about that. I don't consider myself to be a super petty person unless I think someone else is being petty, and then I just kind of like fight fire with fire, which is not the way to go about things. It's typically never solves the issue, but it makes me feel better in the short term. Who plays guitar at weird hours? I have a guitar. I'll play guitar for you guys right now. I don't really have a ton of things I can play on it. I'm not quite as good at guitar as I am on piano. Quite as skilled. Get a cat, teach it to play keyboard. Yes. Consider it an olive branch. Bring the upright piano into the room. Now that would be a real flex. I've considered kind of being the sort of petty where, since she wouldn't, there's been times where she just like won't stop playing piano, and I'm like, I am working on something. Can you not play? And she's like, no. So I just have to live with it. Typically what I do then is I get in my car and I drive away. I'm like, I'm going to do something completely different, and let's not get angry about being stuck here for the moment. But yeah, so something that I've definitely considered being like, I wonder if I just like started playing piano at very inconvenient hours, how it would make her feel, and maybe that would make her understand. But that is not how good communication works, and typically does not convince anyone to be a better person. So I haven't done that. I'm not going to do that. The last few weeks, I have not felt good about myself the last few weeks. I'll be completely honest. I think I'm starting to be like a bad person. I think I'm realizing like, wow, Croc, you are the most toxic person you know. Why do people hang out around you? Nothing is yours, you're the guest. Yeah, I am the guest. But at the same time, I don't get treated like a guest. I'm still expected to help out around the house and do chores and stuff. I hardly do any anymore, but that's also not through some of my own bargaining, because I was like, look, most of the chores my parents would have me do right now are like work on their own personal projects. Like the chores that my dad wants me to do is like work on his business. And it's gotten to the point where I just negotiated with him. Like, I'll invoice him if he asks me for help with his business. I'm like, I'm gonna like pay me for this. Hey, what's up, Greenbox? Welcome to the chat. We're talking about life and other things. Sipping out of my large drink. The Dino onesie, thank you. That is like my character's whole spiel. I got one that I wear on stream too sometimes, but it is. Where is it? I put it somewhere. I think I see it in my closet. It's just really dark. Oh, somewhere in my closet. Next time I do a music stream, I'll probably throw it on again. My dad could hire me. Yeah, but I also don't necessarily want to just be working for my dad. Before doing whatever I've been doing, which is mostly creative work and retail, I was studying to go into like IT and stuff, and I got certifications, and then I applied somewhere and I asked for fair market rate, and they were like, heck no, we're not paying you that. And I was like, wow, okay. And that was like with ins. That was like with a good word, a good recommendation. and all this other stuff, and they were like, no, we're not gonna hire you and pay you what you should be paid. You think this is communism? You think this is socialism? No, it's capitalism. Get screwed over. Benny Coffee Crawford having the same gimmick Fox onesie. Go for it. Living with your employer is not healthy either. And that's my bigger concern. And this is why I kind of had to be like, hey, cool it with the chores because they're not chores. You want me to work on your projects. I'm not going to work on your projects. It's basically kind of what I flat out told them when I moved back in. I was like, I'll help her out. I'll help her around the house if you really need the help. But I'm not going to do your projects. Because inevitably what happens, and it's something, it was happening for quite a bit before I moved out the first time, was they would start a project, get to the most inconvenient part of the project that they didn't want to research or do any of the things for, and be like, you, child, you are my child, you must complete this, I don't know, answer these questions 3. Do this, like, arduous task, like, all of the effort. Work with this uncomfortable substance in an uncomfortable room for an extended period of time. And then once we see what sort of work that you've done, we'll decide if it's even worth keeping, or maybe you'll just have to tear everything down and do it again any other way. So you become a full-time streamer. Working on it! Slowly but surely. I have an idea. I can't really make any promises right now. Yeah, don't work with family. That's a bad idea. Yeah. It's unfortunate, actually. A taco shop up the street, one of my favorite taco shops, was owned by, I think, like 2 cousins. And then their grandma died? No, I don't know if that was it. Someone who actually owned the shop, it was like in their name, passed away. And I think only one of them was listed. I don't know what happened. There was some sort of feud, and one of them left the company, and it really bummed me out. Because, like, I grew up with the shop. This is one of my favorite taco shops. So I go up the street and hang out with the people and joke around with them all day. And then one of them ended up leaving the company. It's kind of sad about that. You child, wear this crocodile onesie and play video games on the internet. If that's all, if that was it, oh my god, my life would have changed. Quits games and yes, that probably would have happened. I probably would have been like, who are you? What have you done with our parents? Like, you think I would succumb to your will that easily? You cannot control me. You do not have enough badges to train me. I'm not listening. La 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 la. I love my onesie. That's one of the, like, it was a gift from someone, and honestly, that was like one of the best gifts I ever got. 2 of the gifts, I didn't realize, typically I don't like getting apparel as gifts, but that and also my crocodile slippers have been fantastic. And they go together. A crocodile onesie, crocodile slippers, they're like not quite the same color, but it doesn't matter. It's still wonderful. Let me see if I can find them. Oh, here they are. Look at this thing. I love this thing. It's got these little, like, sleepy eyes. It's so comfy. It doesn't breathe. Oh, I just realized, like, my foot, the imprint of my foot is, like, permanently impressed inside the sole. One of the eyes came and it was, like, folded over. like this, and it never stood up. But now they seem to finally be standing up. I should have taken like an iron or something and like flattened it out. Was also a gift. That's awesome. They're super comfy. Trying to convince your family to get a Pikachu onesie. Might wait till your birthday. Go for it. Had a dinosaur one, 2 actually. One has a tail. They're cute. I like them. Got a birthday present. Oh yeah. Yeah. See, that's when, and it doesn't really get very cold around here. I say as it's like freaking raining cats and dogs outside. Like this is one of the coldest days it's been in like a month. But it doesn't get super cold. Like it'll never snow here. But definitely like days like these are days when you need to break out the Kigu sometimes and roll around in it. Just hang out in bed, watch YouTube. Pretty big state, hard to miss. That's geography. As I was saying though, yeah, so things about the stream, the production behind the scenes, more and more behind the scenes stuff might change. We'll see. It's gonna, I kind of talked about it a little bit when I first started up the stream, but I don't even know if anyone was here. But basically, I might be getting some additional income. So that's actually on the list. It's not just something that like, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm so poor. I can't afford anything. Like soon I'm gonna actually, I will have money to not only live on, which will be nice considering that my hours are like significantly dwindled since the holiday season in retail because they really just don't need that many people working. But yeah, I'll also have some more money, not just to live on, but also to invest back into the stream. And it's actually my intention. I have like a car payment and a credit card payment now. And I'm going to get rid of that. I'm just going to like get it out of the way. It's going to be like an extra $200 every month in my pocket, which for at this point's a lot. And I'm going to pretty much invest that right back into the stream, I think. Sell the car. I need the car. I live in a city where it would be impossible to get around without the car. Fortunately, public transportation here is like utter crap. Also, what time is it? Okay, I have about 30 more minutes. You got rid of the car. You saved so much money. That's impressive. I don't even know. That's like a type of lifestyle I don't know if I could sustain. I am lucky enough that now I could bike to work if I really wanted to. I would probably arrive to work pretty sweaty because nothing around here is flat. I'd be riding all up and down hills to and from work. Hate having to own a car. It messed it up. Oh no. You have like antifreeze freeze? Did it like break your cooling or something? I can't imagine vehicles in Texas aren't designed for the extreme cold. Yeah. Cause don't they have like heaters for the engine block or something that you're supposed to plug them in at night if you're gonna leave them out overnight or something? Oh. That sounds like a problem. I don't suppose it could be. I don't know. No, never mind. I know nothing about cars in the cold. That is not a problem where I live. Fortunately or unfortunately, I do not get exposed to that. On a day like today, actually, I'm glad I have a car, just because it is rainy. And the thing is like, it's kind of a blessing and a curse having a car in this city, because when you have kids when you have friends, very different. Somehow very different and very much the same at the same time. But when you have friends who don't drive and you are in high school, suddenly you are the coolest kid on the block, or at least people want to spend time with you, if only because you have a car and can take them places. And I think that was kind of a big, I mean, most of my friends from high school I still keep in touch with. And it might have been because we ended up spending so much time driving around town that they were like, hey, you're actually cool. And I'm like, thanks. When is Texas coming back? Texas got canceled. Got canceled by Mother Nature. It's never supposed to get colder than 50. During the freeze, it was 5. That's scary. I find it strange right now that it's in 30s or 40s tomorrow. It should be colder. Texas is already back. 2 back. Really? 70? Jeez. I mean, that's typical. That's I guess a typical day here around this season. But it's like people were talking so much about the cold snap. I never heard anything about it going back to normal. So I guess that's good to hear. I'm glad your environment is not trying to kill you anymore, Kiki. I think it's like similar latitudes. Take a trip to Vegas in January wearing shorts all day, all locals confused. In the 70s and there's in the teens here. 70s is, yeah, if it's 70 degrees, people are probably breaking out the winter gear. Not completely a lie. 60s, if it's anywhere in the 60s, we are like, okay, time to bundle up. Don't want to get cold. Don't want to catch a cold. But it'll be like 90 degrees outside, and people will walk around in jeans and a long sleeve shirt and be like, this is okay. You'll be like, no, it's not. What are you doing wearing that? You look very warm. And they'll be like, I'm fine. I grew up here and that's too warm. I just always wear shorts. Unless I work. The only time where I don't wear shorts is if it's like exceptionally cold or if I'm or if I'm working. Oh, temperature fluctuation in the desert. Yeah. Somewhere like Vegas. Like Palm Springs, it's kind of the same issue. It can get really cold at night. Reno is like closer to Northern California here, right? Yeah, that would definitely be, that's gonna have different temperatures in something like Vegas or the Grand Canyon or something like that. In front of southern states and then get hit by Arctic temps. Except Florida. The snowbirds. You could say the same thing about the snowbirds who travel to Arizona, but Arizona just doesn't get cold. That's a lie, it does get cold, but it's northern Arizona. Everyone's going down to like Quartzsite. If you go on like Sonoma and Quartzsite, I think are kind of areas that are kind of close to each other. Sonora? I don't remember. Anyway, there's some towns over in southern Arizona that get very populated during this time of year. 90 to 100 in Texas, but it's humid. Perfect crocodile weather. You say that. For the actual crocodiles, maybe. For the crocodiles that sit inside playing FFXIV all day, the correct temperature is whatever I have my thermostat set to. Amount of times between November and April. Alarm. I get the I don't know, I'm in Florida. I'm not a crocodile. Yeah, but how do you know that? Crocodile? You forgot a D. That's a very common... I shouldn't say very common. There is 100% someone on foraffinity.net with the name for their persona, Croc-O'-dial. As in, like, it's a Scottish surname. What happened to Crocodisle? That's so cool. It was funny when I chose this username. I didn't have a particular motivation besides, like, I just wanted something that people would kind of know, and it wouldn't be, like, super edgy or out there. It was just, so whatever. It's a different spelling of crocodile. And it kind of crossed my mind as, like, there's going to be some furry in the next few years who's going to think that they're clever. Some poor scaly out there somewhere who actually has a crocodile persona and is like, I got it. I got the name. It came to me in a dream. I had a vision. An angel came down from the heavens in the shape of a large reptile and told me that this would be my new username. And they're going to go on FA, or they're going to go on Twitter, and they're going to be like, Crocodile like island. Boop. Enter. And it's going to be like, this nerd's already here. I'll be like, I should have known. Freaking normies. Just kidding. Me? A normie? You're going to strange stuff. You find you enemy. Don't add me on FA. I never do anything on FA. Don't add me on FA. Made an account there a long time ago to find 3 Lalafell arts. 3! Count them 3. Crocodile one. Someone will do it. I'm actually really... I think it's both Instagram and Twitter. Someone has Crocodile. Spelled as I have it as my Twitch username. This is like my preferred spelling. So Twitter and Instagram then become crocodiles with an S at the end because it rolls off the tongue still. I've already found your other accounts. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. What was I gonna say? Oh, yes. But I know that Twitter was thinking about doing a thing to, like, purge old unused usernames or, like, dead usernames. Like accounts that people haven't logged into in a really long time or something. And there's nothing on the Crocodile account. There's nothing there. I don't even think there's a single post. And the longer that account remains inactive, that means the higher chance I'm going to be able to come in and swipe it. I'm very happy about that. You're not really a furry anymore. Friends are made so it persists. You have your raid assigned for Sona. Fawful Waffle was taken on Twitter. Yeah, usernames are weird. I can't imagine what's going to happen years and years from now when people are going to be trying to think of original usernames and monikers for themselves. See, with like normal human names, we can just share normal human names, and that's fine. People can just put like normal human names and then put numbers after them, and that's okay. This name of yours is so old. Since the days of AIM. No, I'm not posting my AIM username. Nice try. It was based off of an OC that it was kind of based off an OC, but not necessarily an OC, but it was based off of a weapon in a universe. I was in like first or second grade, I think, when I made my AIM account. I like how Discord does it. Discord, I think this is how it's gonna be. Like, that's gonna be the future. It's gonna be the name with the numbers at the end. Because otherwise, there's gonna be too much overlap. There's way too much overlap. Two-tailed fox. This is use just hidden ID bag for programming. Croc will know why. Need to update my name. I think you're using Lala as an online handle. Use him as a mascot. I mean, yeah. I have Felix FFXIV on Twitter, and it's definitely pictures of my Lalafell. That's definitely what's on there. Blizzard does it like Discord does. Yeah, that's smart. And then I guess Steam, it doesn't matter because each person has a unique ID. Just the URL has to be different. The name itself can be whatever, but the URL that directly links to the user's profile has to be unique. Which I guess is fine, because you could literally put any string with numbers at the end and that would be okay, as long as you remember what it is. Seeing Momomu's as an animated avatar, so you want to throw money at him. I don't know if Momo could be persuaded to do another VTuber avatar. I mean, maybe if you ask nicely. But I remember him talking about it and him just being like, that was a lot of work. This was a struggle, to say the least. Sid.hildegard.xiv. It's literally screenshots. I mean, that's the way to do it. Delete Lalafells and be a Lalafell. There is a person in Final Fantasy with delete Lalafell. Yeah. I have Aaron Hansen on I think Fairy. It was either Fairy or Siren. I think I made Aaron Hansen. And it's a Makote that I tried to make look like Aaron Hansen. Plays with male Vieira now with hats. What if they add male Vieira and then they make it so female Vieira can wear hats but the male can't? Or vice versa. The male can but the female can't. People will be so pissed. Most amusing character I've seen is Stargatinum. Final Fantasy Twitter is a gift that keeps on giving. Honestly, it's like the one safe space on the internet for me. I don't subscribe to a lot of safe spaces, but Final Fantasy Twitter might be like the one that does it. Like I would be really upset if my Final Fantasy Twitter ended up having the content fucked with in any sort of way. I don't know if everyone's been keeping up. There's a Lalafell named Dashimaru, or Dashi for short. He's a blue hair. He's got like one little red mark right under his eye. Him. Another Lalafell who goes by Ame. Another Lalafell starts with M. Mono or something. Moru. Not Meru. It's like M-O something. And this other completely different Lalafell that I don't know the name of. These 4 Lalafells have all started like a gaming crew. And they're really cute. The art, they all draw art of each other and it's really adorable. You're a safe space. All inclusive, not afraid to beat you up if you're bad. Lalafell Facebook groups that are wonderful. Really? I'm so hesitant to join like Lalafell anything. The last thing I saw that was like Lalafell Twitter that became a thing in game died in a fire. It made me some good friends, but not because I joined it, but because I was like proxy to everyone who knew about it. Dashimaru K. Yep. Yeah, Dashimaru K. That's the one that I was talking about. He did used to draw a lot. I miss his drawings. He's drawing a little bit more now, but it's cool to see him. I mean, now everyone else's Ame and the other 2 Lalafell's art is also kind of making up for what I missed. Or for him not posting. It's okay, I'll forgive him. Stream group. Part of it is very wholesome. There's so much. Yeah. Basically what Kiki said. Enjoy reading Final Fantasy Twitter. Avoid does drama get loud when it happens. That's Twitter, though. People aren't afraid to cancel or do any of that stupid stuff. Join a Lalafell Discord once. I'm in Lalafell. I just kind of have resolved to like not join any sort of Lala exclusive club anymore. At first it was kind of cute, but it was also because like I knew people that were in there, but if I didn't know those people at this point, it's not my prerogative. Cancel Felix for wearing an alligator kiku. I'm an imposter. Looking kind of sus in my alligator kiku. Plus, like, not a lot of people, I think Lalafells get a bad rap. I don't think that there's so many other races joining, like, race-only groups. Besides maybe Makote or female Rogadins. Male Al Ra, maybe? Vieira, Hrothgar. People would join groups just for Hrothgars, probably. And probably for Rogadins. But that's also because nobody plays Rogadins. It's like when you see a Rogadin, you're like, whoa, someone's playing a Rogadin. I think the race that I've seen the least of, personally is female Elezen. At this point, I don't even think female Elezen exist. I can't remember the last time I saw a female Elezen. It's been a long time. Like, I remember Femrose sooner than I remember female Elezen. Male Lalafels are only weird if they have facial hair. This is a call-out post. Lalafel got a lot of hate. I feel like Lalafels bring it upon themselves, though, is kind of what I'm saying. Like, we're kind of insufferable sometimes. I definitely see why people don't like Lalafels. Male Lalafels in particular, because people wanted all of the straight males who buy into cringe culture only want to see the cute lollies. They don't want to see. That's all a female Lalafel is to them, and nothing more. And this isn't supposed to. This is a mindless stereotype that was done uncarefully and was not planned. So nobody stab me. A lot more of a preference for female Lalafels. Yeah. I think that's, yeah, and like I said, I feel like that might have something to do with. Invariably, okay, here's the thing on Twitter. People can like what they like. I'm not just throwing that out there. I don't judge them. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. But like, man, so many accounts on Twitter. It's like, oh, look, a Lalafel account. It's like strictly not safe for work. Oh, look, another Lalafel account. It's also strictly not safe for work. Why are there so many strictly not safe for work Lalafel accounts on Twitter? Why Twitter of all places? Like, I don't necessarily want to see that on Twitter. If I did want to see it. If I did want to see it, I'd go somewhere else. I don't use Twitter for that type of stuff. Once you're looking under the hood, Lalafels are pretty androgynous. Personally, I like both. I feel like, well, Oni is kind of a big personality online, whether he likes it or not. He's kind of hard to avoid sometimes, depending on your spaces. Twitter because Tumblr acts that stuff. I don't even know if Lalafel Tumblr no, Lalafel Tumblr was a thing. That's actually partially why I got into Final Fantasy, was because of Eldwin Stelhart is the character name. Him and Dell, which was either an alt of his that he shipped his character with, or like a real person. Yeah, Eld. He was one of the first Lalafels I ever followed on social media, specifically because he had a Lalafel account. He deleted his FX. Yeah, he did delete it. But I think that was just because he needs to focus his attention elsewhere. I don't blame him. Honestly, and like, yeah, if I have a question, if I'm going to have to make a decision for my own well-being of whether to axe my Lalafel Twitter or my normal Twitter, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, hang on. Yeah, no, it might actually be a harder decision than I thought. But, like, it would make sense that the Final Fantasy Twitter has to go first. Especially in Oni's situation where, like, that's his business. Like, that's kind of the whole, like, part of the big reason why he's online in the first place. X is my normal Twitter. Honestly, that's where, like, most of the toxicity in my life comes from anyway. I log off of Twitter and suddenly my life is just like, whoa, breath of fresh air. It's amazing how much of these people's problems are just made up and don't exist. Oh, this is nice. So much easier when people don't tell me how to think about something mundane. I've spent most of my time just logged out of Twitter for the last 2 weeks now. It's been very, very eye-opening. It's a nice habit. I think I'll get into it. The less I can use it, the better. I think I don't use Twitter much. Oh, well, to clarify, Eldwin was on Tumblr. I'm trying to even remember what the name was. I don't remember what the name of his Tumblr account was. Anyway, we don't really talk that much more. He was friends with some other Lalafels that I knew. So I did actually end up getting to meet them because they created an alt on Aether. Well, it was on Make Art Stormer at the time because there wasn't like world transfer back when that was a thing. But I did get to actually meet them and hang out with them a little bit. But they're really quiet. They don't talk a lot. Even though their posts were very expressive. I don't know what that was about. I guess they just really liked playing their character. Do you like the sass? No internet challenge. You can do it. As a streamer, I'm gonna only stream using IP over ham radio, whatever the heck that is. I'll tune in. I'll use amateur video to tune in to a friend's location, and from their location, they will share my stream. Minimize your use of Twitter this year. Eventually, I want to get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of my Facebook. Who the heck is using Facebook anymore? I only use Twitter now to post streams. I use it to keep up with the art community. And regretfully, I do use it for news. But it's just kind of like whatever is happening through the grapevine, which isn't always positive. But I've taken a lot of care. I block things and people like immediately because I don't care about having a discussion on that platform, and I'm not on there to change anyone's mind or have my mind changed. I'm there to like look at art. So that's what I do. And then I log off. I look at the funny meme, I share the funny meme, and then I leave. Use Facebook for memes. Entertainers visiting the Floof Shack. Really involved with custom poses. I think people should make a comic using just G-pose. Just take screenshots and like cut out the characters out of the screenshots and just make a comic out of it. Put it in panels. Just put it in like dynamic panels and it would be freaking amazing. I'm really surprised someone hasn't done that yet. Rise would do it. Rise showed me screenshots of, he posted it to one of the Discords that I know some of you are in, but he did like a little mock-up of like a dating sim with his character, and I thought that was such a good idea. It wouldn't be hard to do. Considering you could just rip all the FFXIV assets, throw it into Unity, and then like the script for something like that, not that difficult. Dating sims are like almost no programming at all. Yeah, Instagram for your Lalafell. As close to Facebook as you ever get. Good for you. Oh, isn't that what Kaminto does? Yeah, I guess so. I kind of forgot about them. I don't feel like they tell a cohesive story. Like, they have their characters and then they play their characters, but other than that, it just doesn't seem like there's like an overarching plot or something. I don't know. I haven't always really been... to be completely honest, I'm kind of upset that they have a character that, like, they advertise that their character is, like, blatantly racist against other races in the game. I'm like... It's a sensitive time in the world. Might not be the best idea. I don't know where you're coming from in real life, Kay, but I hope every good thing comes your way and people don't overreact. Made a comic? It's a lot of work. Oh, because custom content. Sorikami's Bowl. It's all about murder. Yeah. Murder is only Kami. Yeah, the Dunes folk racism. I mean, I'm like, whatever. It's croc murder. Let's see. I don't even know if it'll work. Croc murder? Do both of them need to be capitalized? It'll show up. If it works, it's going to show up in the Twitch chat proper, but it's not going to actually show up in Restream chat. It's dead? Oh, do you have I have a hair in my mouth. Better TTV installed. You need to have better the browser extension Better TTV installed for it to work. And then it's croc. I believe it's capital C croc capital M murder with no space. The murder emote has been murdered. The murder emote, if you guys have Discord Nitro, is in the Discord server. You are more than welcome to join if you have not already. What is that? I wish that Restream would work with Better TTV emotes. Because the Better TTV emotes work with, like, Streamlabs chat, which means I would think that, sorry if you can hear that. It's about that time. It's a smug llama. I think it's broken. The Pikachus are good. I have to sneeze, but I cannot. Never mind, I lied. Yeah, it is raid time. Oh, wow. I'm so pale. I used to be tan. I swear. I promise. I'm not lying. It's actually inspired by Pikachu. Oh. Well, now we know your secret's been revealed. Well, it's currently 6 o'clock, which means I need to go. It didn't occur to me when I joined this group that this would be cutting into my Final Fantasy stream times, which means I don't have that much time to be doing Final Fantasy stream stuff, which kind of sucks. But guess what? Since I'm not streaming with you guys, sorry guys, on Saturdays and Sundays, maybe instead, sorry, I'm just clipping my mic here. Maybe instead I will be playing Final Fantasy 2 on weekends. streams now because I'll have nothing better to do. I also kind of want to do Hades, and I think someone else said that they wanted to watch me stream Hades, and I mean, music's always been a thing. So, music stream sometime soon, maybe? I don't know. We can figure something out. Anyway, I had a good time today. I'm glad I had a good time today. This felt very therapeutic. And I think this was completely necessary. I think I need to start my streams with just chatting more. I think I need to start my streams with just chatting again. I think this is something that I missed and I haven't been doing. I need to do that. Anyway, now we know. I'm watching Clear Saturday. You better freaking one and done E11 or else I'm going to be very upset for you guys. Great part of the old streams. So a lot of the reason why it stopped was just because I kept like religiously getting scheduled to like 4 o'clock. Like right when the stream started, like I would be getting off of work and I would be getting home late. And I wouldn't even have time to start just chatting because we needed to hop into stream. Now that wouldn't be a thing. The thing is that if I start UCOB anytime soon, which there's a possibility, then UCOB is going to happen immediately after the streams would normally happen because it's going to happen at the old Uwu time, I'm pretty sure. Which was immediately after Yay Highs. I had like no time. Yay Highs ended at 7 and Uwu started at 7. So, but yes, we will figure that out. Hopefully UCOB does not totally ruin my life. The sooner I can get the savages done, that's going to be fine. Ridding myself of the savages will be one of the best things that's ever happened to me. But getting into the ultimates, that's where I really want to be anyway, so I'm looking forward to spending more time in the ultimates. And I think that will end up being more fulfilling in the long run. Anyway, I'm rambling. The point is, just chatting, let's have that come back. Let's have it be a thing again. Another thing, more stream days. Let's do it. Tuesdays and Mondays, I'm like not doing anything for the next 2 weeks. 2 very different portions of time. But anyway, yeah, I'll have to check my schedule. Let's see if we can get a Tuesday or a Monday going as well. In addition to Final Fantasy 2 streams on weekends. That'll be a thing. 9-hour streams, let's go. I don't know about that. And then that will be a thing. Final Fantasy 2 this coming Saturday and Sunday. Let's do it. Let's just get it done. Let's just freaking like demolish it this weekend if we can't. After that, Final Fantasy 3 and onward will all be done on YouTube. That's all going to move to YouTube, and they will be Let's Plays after that. So make sure you are subscribed to the Crocodile channel on YouTube. There is a link in my Twitch description. I don't know if it's in the panels, but if you go to like the actual literal description of my channel, I think there's a link there. So go sub if you want to see more of that sort of content. Other than that, I have people that are waiting for me and I have to pee, so I'm going to go do that. Here's a crappy mic for the real deal for Let's Plays. I need the Windows Movie Maker intro with like the Comic Sans text slowly fading across the screen. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Au revoir until next time, until Saturday at 4 p.m. when we will play Final Fantasy 2. Wonderful. See you later, alligators. Stay safe out there. Stay warm if where you are it is cold, and stay cold if where you are it is warm. That's all I have to say on the matter. Bye.